Bible in a Year Live, Chronological Project, Week 8, Day 5, Complete Jewish Bible. Adonai said to Moshe, "Say to the people of Israel, if someone from the people of Israel or one of the foreigners living in Israel sacrifices one of his children to Molech, he must be put to death. The people of the land are to stone him to death. I too will set myself against him and cut him off from his people, because he has sacrificed his child to Molech, defiling my sanctuary and profaning my holy name. If the people of the land look the other way when that man sacrifices his child to Molech and fail to put him to death, then I will set myself against him, his family, and everyone who follows him to go fornicate after Molech and cut them off from their people. The person who turns to spirit mediums and sorcerers to go fornicating after them, I will set myself against him and cut him off from his people. Therefore, consecrate yourself, you people must be holy, because I am Adonai your God. Observe my regulations and obey them. I am Adonai, who sets you apart to be holy. A person who curses his father or mother must be put to death. Having cursed his father or his mother, his blood is on him. If a man commits adultery with another man's wife, that is, with the wife of a fellow countryman, both the adulterer and the adulteress must be put to death. The man who goes to bed with his father's wife has disgraced his father sexually, and both of them must be put to death. Their blood is on them. If a man goes to bed with his daughter-in-law, both of them must be put to death. They have committed a perversion, and their blood is on them. If a man goes to bed with a man as with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They must be put to death. Their blood is on them. If a man marries a woman and her mother, it is depravity. They are to be put to death by fire, both he and they, so that there will not be depravity among you. If a man has sexual relations with an animal, he must be put to death, and you are to kill the animal. If a woman approaches an animal and has sexual relations with it, you are to kill the woman and the animal. Their blood will be on them. If a man takes his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and has sexual relations with her, and she consents, it is a shameful thing. They are to be cut off publicly. He has had sexual relations with his sister, and he will bear the consequences of their wrongdoing. If a man goes to bed with a woman in her menstrual period and has sexual relations with her, he has exposed the source of her blood, and she has exposed the source of her blood. Both of them are to be cut off from their people. You are not to have sexual relations with your mother's sister or your father's sister. A person who does this has had sexual relations with his close relative. They will bear the consequences of their wrongdoing. If a man goes to bed with his uncle's wife, he has disgraced his uncle sexually. They will bear the consequences of their sin and die childless. If a man takes his brother's wife, it is uncleanness. He has disgraced his brother sexually. They will be childless. You are to observe all the regulations and rulings and act on them, so that the land to which I am bringing you will not vomit you out. Do not live by the regulations of the nation which I am expelling ahead of you, because they did all these things, which is why I detest them. Because they did all these things, which is why I detested them. But to you I have said, you will inherit their land. I will give it to you as a possession, a land flowing with milk and honey. I am Adonai, your God, who has set you apart from the peoples. Therefore, you are to distinguish between clean and unclean animals, and between clean and unclean birds. Do not make yourselves detestable with an animal, bird, or reptile that I have set apart for you to regard as unclean. Rather, you people are to be holy for me, because I, Adonai, am holy, and I have set you apart from the other peoples, so that you can belong to me. A man or a woman who is a spirit medium or sorcerer must be put to death. They are to stone them to death. Their blood will be on them. Adonai said to Moshe, "Speak to the Kohanim, the sons of Aharon. Tell them, no Kohen is to make himself unclean for any of his people who dies, except for his close relatives, his mother, father, son, daughter, and brother. He may also make himself unclean for his virgin sister who has never married and is therefore dependent on him. He may not make himself unclean because he is a leader among his people. Doing so would profane him. Kohanim are not to make bald spots on their heads, mar the edges of their beards, or cut gashes in their flesh. Rather, they are to be holy for their God and not profane the name of their God. For they are the ones who present Adonai with offerings made by fire, the bread of their God. Therefore, they must be holy. A Kohen is not to marry a woman who is a prostitute, who has been profaned, or who has been divorced, because he is holy for his God. Rather, you are to set him apart as holy because he offers the bread of your God. He is to be holy for you, because I, Adonai, who makes you holy, am holy. The daughter of a Kohen who profanes herself by prostitution profanes her father. She is to be put to death by fire. The Kohen who is ranked highest among his brothers, the one on whose head the anointing oil is poured, and who is consecrated to put on the garments, is not to stop grooming his hair, tear his clothes, go into where any dead body is, or make himself unclean, even when his father or mother dies. He may not leave the sanctuary then or profane the sanctuary of his God, because the consecration of the anointing oil of his God is on him. I am Adonai. He is to marry a virgin. He may not marry a widow, divorcee, profaned woman, or prostitute, but he must marry a virgin from among his own people, and not disqualify his descendants among his people, because I am Adonai, who makes him holy. Adonai said to Moshe, Tell Aharon, none of your descendants who has a defect may approach to offer the bread of his God. No one with a defect may approach. No one blind, lame, with a mutilated face or a limb too long, a broken foot or a broken arm, a hunchback, stunted growth, a cataract in his eye, festering or running sores, or damaged testicles. No one descended from Aharon the Kohen who has such a defect may approach to present the offerings for Adonai made by fire. He has a defect and is not to approach to offer the bread of his God. He may eat the bread of his God, both the especially holy and the holy, only he is not to go into the curtain or approach the altar, because he has a defect, so that he will not profane my holy places, because I am Adonai, who makes them holy. Moshe said these things to Aharon, his sons, and all the people of Israel. Adonai said to Moshe, Tell Aharon and his sons to separate themselves from the holy things of the people of Israel, which they set apart as holy for me, so that they will not profane my holy name. I am Adonai. Tell them, any descendant of yours through all your generations who approaches the holy things that the people of Israel consecrated to Adonai and is unclean will be cut off from before me. I am Adonai. Any descendant of Aharon with zarat or a discharge is not to eat the holy things until he is clean. Anyone who has touched a person made unclean by a dead body, or who has had a seminal emission, or who has touched a reptile or insect that can make him unclean, or a man who is unclean for any reason, and who can transmit to him his uncleanness, the person who touches any of these will be unclean until evening, and is not to eat the holy things unless he bathes his body in water. After sunset, he will be clean, and afterwards he may eat the holy things because they are his food. But he is not to eat anything that dies naturally or is torn to death by a wild animal, and thereby make himself unclean. I am Adonai. The Kohanim must observe this charge of mine, otherwise, if they profane it, they will bear the consequences of their sin for doing so and die in it. I am Adonai, who makes them holy. No one who is not a Kohen may eat anything holy, nor may a tenant or employee of a Kohen eat anything holy. But if a Kohen acquires a slave, either through purchase or through his being born in his household, he may share his food. If the daughter of a Kohen is married to a man who is not a Kohen, she is not to have a share of the food set aside from the holy things. But if the daughter of a Kohen is a widow or divorcee and has no child, and she is sent back to her father's house, as when she was young, she may share in her father's food, but no one not a Kohen is to share in it. If a person eats holy food by mistake, he must add 1/5 to it and give the holy food to the Kohen. They are not to profane the holy things of the people of Israel, that they have set apart for Adonai, and thus cause them to bear guilt, requiring a guilt offering, by eating their holy things, because I am Adonai, who makes them holy. Adonai said to Moshe, Speak to Aharon and his sons, and to the entire people of Israel. Tell them, when anyone, whether a member of the house of Israel or a foreigner living in Israel, brings his offering, either in connection with a vow or as a voluntary offering, and brings it to Adonai as a burnt offering, in order for you to be accepted, you must bring a male without defect from the cattle, the sheep, or the goats. You are not to bring anything with a defect, because it will not be accepted from you. Whoever brings a sacrifice of peace offerings to Adonai in fulfillment of a vow, or as a voluntary offering, whether it came from the herd or from the flock, it must be unblemished and without defect in order to be accepted. If it is blind, injured, mutilated, has an abnormal growth, or has festering or running sores, you are not to offer it to Adonai or make such an offering by fire on the altar to Adonai. If a bull or a lamb has a limb which is too long or short, you may offer it as a voluntary offering, but for a vow it will not be accepted. An animal with bruised, crushed, torn, or cut genitals, you are not to offer to Adonai. You are not to do these things in your land, and you are not to receive any of these from a foreigner, for you to offer as bread for your God, because their deformity is a defect in them, and they will not be accepted from you. Adonai said to Moshe, When a bull, sheep, or goat is born, it is to stay with its mother for 7 days, but from the 8th day on it may be accepted for an offering made by fire to Adonai. However, no animal is to be slaughtered together with its young on the same day, neither cow nor ewe. When you offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving to Adonai, you must do it in a way such that you will be accepted. It must be eaten on the same day it is offered. Leave none of it till morning. I am Adonai. You are to keep my mitzvot and obey them. I am Adonai. You are not to profane my holy name. On the contrary, I am to be regarded as holy among the people of Israel. I am Adonai, who makes you holy, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai.